So yesterday I got a call from a friend of mine who's a contractor, and he was trying to pull a well pump out yesterday, and he believes that it's stuck. And I don't really know much. He sent me a picture, which it looked like it used to have a pitless, but then he told me it had a well seal and the bolts had been removed from the well seal. So if that's the case, then the bottom half of the metal well seal fell down and that's trapping the pump. But he also said that he thinks that the drop pipe was PVC. So maybe the drop pipe broke and the well pump fell. I don't know. There's a lot of variables here. But all I know is I got to bring a crane, a camera, a boom box, pump pipe, and wire. And we're going to go out and see if we can fish this stuck well pump out of the well and at least get some data, because we don't know the depth of the hole. We don't know when it was drilled. We don't know if the well even has water in it. There's a whole lot of variables. So I've got about an hour worth of stuff to load up. I'm actually leaving a drill site right now to go help him. And when we get there, we're just going to start diagnosing it, and then we're going to see if we can fish this thing out. You back here in the woods? Oh, okay. You got I got you.
Yeah, I just kept pinching the touch.
I was lining it up with the concrete cover.
Oh. Yeah, I got this ghetto rig shit.
Yeah, good Lord. Wasps. Yeah, see, I see the pitless right there. That was kind of remarkable how there's a pitless. See that little thing right there?
Mm-hmm.
That used to be a pitless. And
I got you.
if it was on a well seal, damn, you can see it down there too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's see if it'll zoom down in there on it.
I just can't reach the son of a bitch.
Wow. Yeah, look at it. It's got a galvanized T on it.
Yep, and then right on top it's a
boiler drain.
Yep.
Yep. Wow. Okay. All right. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna boombox it. We're gonna figure out how much water level, where the water level is, and then it looks like so much trash in there. I'm afraid of. Yeah. Wow. You got a shit ton of.
Yeah, it's tight.
Pressure on that string. Yikes! You can play guitar on that thing. Okay, let's figure out water level. Okay, let's turn this on. Stick that in there. 160 foot to water. Yeah, you got a dry hole. Regardless of anything else, the well's just not making water. Because how long have you said it been off? 2 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, so even if the well's 200 feet deep, it only made 40 foot of water in 5 days. So we'll go through the whole scenario of getting it out, but putting a new pump in it, realistically, isn't going to help them. They're just going to drain it dry again. Because they bought the house recently, they weren't, no one disclosed the fact that the well was dry or had issues. That's kind of against the law, but we'll see if we can get it out first, and then assess how deep the hole is, and then go from there. Because this thing could have been stuck when they bought the house. You know what I'm saying? There could have been so many problems that people couldn't have dealt with, and then they own it, and then they're trying to fix it, and it could have been like this for months or years. Just basing, look, we've got 2 wires out here. There's just a lot of screwy stuff going on. If it was on a well seal and a pitless, that makes me feel like there's 2 pump systems in the well already. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they had a pitless and they lost it, and so they put another one down it, and then they put that on a well seal, and that's number 2. Weird. Okay, well, if that one didn't work, we're going to try this one. Because all I really got to do is essentially I'm not trying to use this as a pull. I'm trying to use this as a safety. Because if we go to pull up on the yellow cable, the yellow rope, and it snaps, everything disappears. So I need to have something else hooked to that bar to where if I can pull it up with the crane and get it up above ground, I'm good. But if it breaks, I need to make sure it doesn't fall to the bottom. And it sucks because it's only down there like 8 feet, Once once you're out here, there it is. Like I've got it right there, but I know it's just barely touching it. Like I want to swing it into it so bad, but it just won't. Got it! I got it! Yeah! Woo! Okay, now the key is don't let it go. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and just take this and we'll tie this to your foiler hook as a safety. And then I'm gonna get the crane, we'll set the crane up. And then we'll start pulling. All right, let's go up. First things first, we're gonna undo this, hook it to one of my cables, and then we'll undo your winch. Okay, I want you to slowly take off the slack on your winch. All right. Now we gotta be careful. We don't want any of the rope sliding down the well. So we always gotta keep our hand on it. Now we're gonna take that yellow rope, and we're gonna tie it to that yellow hook right there. That's a good enough. Good enough. All right. Let's see what happens. Let's pull tension on it. All right. We're gonna go back to the slow feed. Pull tension on it. You know what? Every time. I did it again. Watch your head. That's gonna be you're gonna kind of have to hold tension on that.
Alright.
Honestly, it's not terribly tight. Let me loosen. I'm gonna go down on the rope just a little. Okay. Now we're gonna have to try to hook this damn thing again. All right, we got it hooked back up. Just to give you all a perspective as to what we see, we're bringing it up from where it was earlier, and I'm trying to prevent my hook device from hanging the pitless. See right there how it's right on the edge of the pitless? I've got to hold it over so my barbs don't grab it. But my hook grabbed the wire. Really good tool. But you can see right there that the head of the system, it's coming up. So the pump's coming up, it's just heavy because the hole is dry. Done, baby. Right. Now we can figure out everything we need with the camera. See the camera down. Got it. All right. Well, we were successful with that. A few attempts, and a lot of it's really comes down to luck. But this was the tool that I let Will borrow. Told him try to snag the wire, and that's exactly what he did. It wedges right in there and pulls right up. It's amazing how well that tool works. Luckily, we've got this. You can tell that it was on a well seal, which is gone. So the bottom portion of the well seal's definitely down the hole. It's just crazy, some of the stuff. Like right here, like there's a piece of duct tape blocking a hole here. Not really sure what that was for, being that there was a pitless adapter there. There's just a whole lot of screwy stuff going on here. So what I'm gonna do, the wire I noticed is number 8 or number 6. So that tells me there's a really big pump in this well. Either that or a plumber just sold them unnecessary wire. You know, and we've got, it says 408. And then I think up here it said, I think it said 406. So depending on, it says 402. So that means they cut it here and then it goes down. So if it was the other way, I could say, yep, it's 400 feet. But we don't know how much wire. We just know it starts at 400 up here and it could end at 600 or 700, 800, 900. So we don't know how deep it is. Probably, I'm gonna say probably, it's between 200 and 400 feet. But I'm gonna go ahead now, stick my camera down the hole and just see what's down there waiting for us, because I don't want to put upward pull on this if there's a collapse down the hole, or we send the camera down and we see another pump, all sorts of things. So I want to do a little bit more investigation before we just go and rip this thing out. Because believe it or not, the hole is dry. So that means the system is extremely heavy. And right now, that is really tight. Not as tight as I've seen it in the past, but it was definitely as much upward pressure as I wanted to put on this little 1-inch strap. But sometimes you got to make do with what you got. So let's do a little bit of investigation with the camera before we proceed with ripping this thing out. Okay, so we got the brand new Sandy Pace camera out. Let's go ahead and turn it on. I don't have an SD card in it, so I'm not going to be able to actually show y'all a physical. All right, camera's running through its test cycle. All right, we stop it. But I'm 17 feet down in the borehole right now. I'm using side imaging and I'm just kind of going slow. The goal here is to figure out how much casing is in the well first. There went your first 20-foot joint. And we're gonna pan over. All right, so there's our pipe and our wire. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of follow that down. I really want to see how much casing is in the hole, and I want to make sure that we're not gonna like run into like a collapse zone or something like that. I also want to see what the composition of the rock looks like down the well. I want to see if it looks like gray granite or if it looks like red Triassic rock, because we're in Triassic. There it is. Okay, so there is, camera's a little jerky, but there's the base of the casing. Yeah, wow. It's already rough looking. So it's possible. It's possible that it has a rock rolled in on it. So now we're at 93, 94 feet. I want you to look right here. See right here on the screen, you know what that is? That's blue nylon rope. Well, guess what? There's no blue nylon rope up here. So that means the rope that used to go down on that pump system has all fallen to the bottom and is likely wadded up on top of the pump. And that's what's preventing it from coming up. That's just one of many possibilities. So that means there's 100 foot. It just popped up on the screen right around 92 feet. So either it's broken or something, but there's a possibility that the remainder, the leftover of that rope is just dangling. See right there, you got two. One of them's pulled tight, and the other one, probably this one being that it's fatter, that's the one going back down, and the one up is being pulled tight. And it's just, you know, it's taped in an area. camera's pretty good. You can actually read the footage. It says 511 feet on the wire there. See, look at how many we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, bunch of rope. Bunch of rope. All right, let's go down. Oh, there it is. There's your wad of rope. This is dangerous. Okay. The worry about this is if I send the camera through that loop of rope and I pull it back up through, there's a high likelihood of it cinching around the camera and it not allowing my camera back up. So I'm not going to stick the camera any deeper because we already see an issue and I don't want to, you know, compound the issue by creating another one. I especially don't want to lose this this $1,000 camera head. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up, and then we're just going to try to rip the system out of the ground and see what happens. So we just finished with the camera, and I'm going to attempt to pull this thing up slowly. I'm going to use my pump dog here as a safety. That way I can pull it straight through it, and if it falls, this will latch onto it. We'll see what happens. Pull it with the heavy duty line. Okay. Oh, yep, heavy duty line. That is insanely tight. Yeah, it's not just a dry well, it is a literal stuck pump. Okay, so I think what I need to do here is try to get the wire out like we did the last one. We're gonna suspend it on one and see if we can just rip the wire out of the pump and get that out of the well. And then maybe that will help free something up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But look at that. They got 4 clamps on that fitting. 4. That's insane. Okay, so this is my heavy duty pull, my main line. I'm gonna go ahead and try to rip the wires out. Damn! Had a feeling that was gonna happen. Okay. Well, since the wire broke, there ain't much else we can do besides just pull it up and hope to God that we can get it to break. I can send my other hook down and try to grab onto the rope and all that's down there, but right now I have access to the pipe, which is theoretically stronger than the rope. If I go down, I fish at like 120 foot, I have a likelihood of getting a lot of stuff stuck if it truly is collapsed around it. The goal is get the pipe out. Then once you get the pipe out, we can maybe send a camera down or something just to see what's going on. But with 160 foot water level in an area where it should be 30 foot from the surface, I think the well has got bigger problems. And right now, you know, we have a big problem, but I think the actual well itself is the problem.
Feel it.
Wire?
Yeah.
Was it coming up or was it pulling down? It was pulling down? That means the pump's stuck. If you pull up the pipe and the wire doesn't come, you're pulling the wire down. Stretch it, yeah? I'm gonna keep pulling. So the harder I pull on this, it's just gonna slide that clamp up. Now I can cut it, put a barb fitting in it, so on and so forth, and try to just break that pipe loose. I really want to try to get the wire, so that's why I'm trying to pull it again. There's no science to this, it's just trial and error. I really want to see it just boom, let go. Well, I got my wish. It just didn't break where I wanted it to. Damn. All right, well, since the wire broke, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to basically my final resort. We're gonna cut the pipe, put a barb fitting in it, and start pulling again. We've already got basically 20 foot out the hole. I've had to do this in the past. Pull it up, cut the barb off, do it again and again and again and again until we get the pipe to break. Most of the time it breaks free down at the pump, so that's what we're gonna do.
Said in the beginning of the video, we use what we got. Right. Use what we got.
Well, time for a game room.
Just sitting on the floor.
We'll let that fit and cool off. Give me something to drink.
I had to stop because where I had to heat it, it's starting to pull it right there. That's theoretically the weakest link because it's about 140 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this down. I'm gonna try pulling on the wire with the main line again. I got it kind of just jerry-rigged right now with my other chain because it's so tight on that other hook. I really just want to see it snap and pop. It's like I don't know, it's amazing. Most of the time I can get them to pull free of the crimps down in the well. I've never had one, especially heavy duty cable like this. I've never had one break so many times up top. Just crazy. Well, 20 foot at a time. Not really, probably like 15. I don't even have my boom extended. Y'all have never seen me struggle on one like this before. This is tough. So at this point, I've been here for about 2.5 hours. And I just noticed something that kind of made me say, let's check this out. So we've already got about 45 feet of pipe out, right? And every time you pull a system out, the pipe is always full of water. Well, guess what? There's no water inside any of this pipe. So it's really strange to me why there's none. Theoretically, it should still be hooked to the pump, should still be all together, and the pipe should be full of water. There's nowhere for it to drain, right? Especially that deep. So I don't really understand what has happened. Maybe the pump, maybe there's a hole in a fitting, maybe the pump's already off of it. I don't know. I think if the pump was off of it, it'd slide right out of whatever is holding it. But just weird that inside that pipe doesn't have any water in it. Very strange. The pipe has water in it. Notice it. So, I mean, it's broken down in the well somewhere. The pipe is probably split. Rubbing or something. No, too much head pressure. Too much pressure, it bursted the pipe. All right, round 6. There's a reason right there why I had to stop. It's starting to pinch it off there. This is essentially what I'm trying to have happen down there on the pump, but it got really tight on that last pull. This thing could be in the ground like 400 foot, 500 foot, or 600 foot. There's no telling. With the number 8 wire that they've used and the 250 PSI pipe, it just tells me the thing is super deep. And there may be a footage marker on this pipe somewhere, but I haven't checked. I think we've got like 50 or 60 feet out, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. All right, reposition. Just trying the clamps to see if they'll work. No, they slide. That is so crazy. I tightened the hell out of them too. Look at it shaving the pipe. Come on, baby, break. God, insane. insane in the membrane. Okay, down she comes. Look at what it did. Check this out. Did we take off that? That's pipe shavings. That is not tape. That's poly. Took the clamps and just shaved it right on up. But we'll notice that the pipe was wet, which is good. We've got it at least up from the 160 foot mark. At least I think. I don't know. All right, well, I guess this is like round 8. I had pretty good luck, you know, pretty good feeling last go around. I'm afraid of putting my hand close to this thing. If y'all wondering why I let it drop like that, because anything could happen. Literally anything could happen. So I'm always with the mindset of if you got to put your finger somewhere, don't leave them there for long. I feel it. I know y'all can't sense it or see it on camera, but it like bup, 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 like it's dragging it through a collapse of rocks. It may pull it, it may not. Cable overwrapping itself, kind of gearing it up. See, if it stops in the same spot, it's exactly what it is. Slow and steady. Hey, torque arrestor. Wow. So there's a reason why I hate torque arresters. Look at it all. It's all piled up around it. A lot of people ask why I don't use them. Well, there's part of the reason. At the end of it. Let me see it. Alright. So it basically frayed down there. Alright. Let's see. Is it any heavier or any lighter? Nope. Still heavy as all get out. Okay. But that's success. We got some of it out. Looks to be about 250 foot of rope. So we've just finished. That was about pull number 15. We switched over to the sand line. It's now able to pull it without stalling. And I went ahead and boomed the mast all the way up so I get a full 35 foot of pull out of it. And she's slowly getting better and better, faster and faster. But I had to up the RPM on the motor, so I'm just not filming this because of it being loud. It's just repetitive. Pipe keeps coming out, keep swapping this back and forth. We just got a cycle going. Once I got something new to show you, I'll turn the camera back on. Well, we just had the first one snap on us. See what it did there? It pulled her loose right there. So that means we're getting it up far enough to where whatever collapse zone it is, I think it's pulled the pump to that point, and that's why it got really heavy and snapped. Kind of shocked me, honestly. When she snapped, look what it did. It pulled it down so tight, like this caught it luckily, but it cinched it down like to the max. I'm honestly surprised it didn't break this thing. It slammed it so hard. I wasn't filming. It probably was because I was kind of rushing. We didn't allow the fitting to have time to cool down. And I think it just, yeah, look what it did to the pipe. I'm gonna pull it up a little and show you. See right there? They squared it out right there. Kind of crazy. All right, keep pulling. Now me and Will both know to step back. The problem was the fitting was way up top. I couldn't tell that it was stretching. I knew it was slowed up, and see, it's already starting to stretch there. Hold on, don't touch it, don't touch it. Wow, it compressed the casing and pushed the casing in the ground. Holy crap. That's insane. I'm watching the casing go down as I take the slack off of it. Lord have mercy. I think we're running into the actual collapse zone with the pump. We probably got 300 foot out. I mean, we could run the camera down there now that there's not rope in the way. Now, with about 300 feet estimated of pipe out, we already got the wad of rope that was blocking us last time. We're gonna go ahead and send the camera down again. You can get a visual to see if we can actually see if we have like wire down there or something. Because it'd be great if I could just go down there and grab it. But my issue is I can't just send like my big stainless steel cable here on the hoist down there, because if I get that stuck, then I've lost hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of cable, and you'll never be able to get that out of the well. So the only other alternative is to hook that piece to like my rope. Well, if I'm gonna hook it to really old yellow rope and I'm down there trying to pull up something, you know, similar to that, it's a 50-50 shot whether I break, there it is, there's a wire. It's a 50-50 shot whether I break that tool or I break that yellow rope trying to fish it out. And then if you do that, then you've now lost a homemade steel tool down the well. Yeah, look at all that. Okay, the camera's getting stuck right there at the 55 foot mark. Okay. Yeah, look at all that. All of that is wire. So I think what we can do, the wire is not that far away. The wire was at like the 30 foot mark. But they use such heavy duty wire that I think the wire has bunched up on us. And that's essentially what we need to try to get out. It's just a risk. It's just a risk, because once we start fishing for wire, that's it. Like, we're stuck. And a lot of times you can, as you pull up the pipe, you'll pull up the wire with it. But see, we're right there at 50 foot. You just subtract 4 foot off of whatever that number is, and then that's where your wire is. But I have no fear of going down and not hooking the wire. It's just I have a fear of going down and hooking it and then being stuck, because I don't have, and that's it right there. That's it right there. It's at 42 feet. I think if I pull any more, I'm wedging the pump in a wad of wire, essentially. But it's kind of crazy how far we've gotten it up, but I don't know. Just one of those weird jobs, guys. All right, so we kind of changed the game plan up a little bit, since we've kind of gotten to a point here in this whole situation where it's stuck, like stuck. So I went ahead and pulled the hook back out, since that seems to be our best tool. And we ran 2 lines on it. We've got 75, 80 feet of rope. That way, like if we break one, we've got one as a backup, so on and so forth. But we're gonna go down, send it down to about 75 feet, try to snag the wire, and then pull the wire up. Because I feel like, because of how heavy gauge that wire is, being like, you know, number 8 or number 6, it's not going to be forgiving. It's going to sit down there and wad up and wad up and wad up. And my hope is, since I've already got that hooked to there, I'll go down, snag the wire, and then try to drag the wire up we tried that earlier, but it, you know, just didn't seem to work. So at this point, I can keep pulling and keep snapping these things off, and we're not getting any further. So I have to change the game plan up and do something different, and this is kind of the last resort. The key here is don't let go of the rope. Can't let this thing go. Can't let go of either one of them. We don't want to introduce any more trash to the well. I think I got it. So how do you know you got it? Because it's heavy. And it's just getting heavier. God. Okay. Shit fire.
Need your hook now.
Yeah.
Here you go.
What you can do is you can put your boot right there. Here, I'll put your. Well, no, it's that hard. Put your boot right there on that.
That's it.
That'll hold it. That'll hold it. And then you can also hold on to that. I'm gonna fire it up. I'm gonna bring that other hook down, double hook that onto that, and then we'll tie a half hitch in that and we'll pull it with that. Oh, my hands hurt. All I want to do is see. It ain't that bad. Keep it away, just hold on to it very lightly. Break, it'll rip out of your hand. Would y'all look at this? I went down there fishing and I caught me an eel. Isn't that crazy? I done caught me a strap. Somebody else had the same idea I did. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, so I've got the wire. I need to figure out which side. Oh my God. Yep, it slipped. All right, okay. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clamp that off to where that won't slip. All right, well, we got the end of the cable out, and I can manually pick that up, but it probably weighs like 90 pounds. So we're gonna go ahead and try to pull it out by hand, see how much we can get out, and then once it stops, we'll hook it back up to the hoist again, and we'll try and pull it and break it free from down in the ground. Slow but steady. Yeah, pull. Wire. Woo! Damn it, boy. Gotta catch my breath. Let me see. Not bad. We can cut it back here and tie a loop in it and try and break it. But at least we got out at least 400 feet of wire. Let's see exactly. I got 720 here. And I got 408, so 4, 5, 6, 7. We either got out 320 or 380 feet of wire. So, probability, the pump is either 20 foot from the surface and it's hanging on the bottom of the casing right now, or it's 80 foot from the surface. You know, I mean, I'm just basing that off math. Or if it's at 500 foot, we're 120 foot or 180 foot. But God, thought I was gonna be in here and out of here in an hour and a half. Here we are, 4 hours later. Round 12. God. Still insane. All of the pipe we've got out and all of the wire we've got out, and it's still lock solid. I mean, good Lord. Minimum 320 foot of wire there. Minimum. Whew. This is tough, dude. Okay, Will had a really good idea. We're gonna hook both the pipe and the wire to the same mainline pull. There ain't no tension on it, so you're safe. Main line up. It's straining my pump. Come on, break it off of the pump fitting, please. Good God. All right, I'm gonna let it sit like that for a second and go get my remote. It's a little too dangerous to be sitting this close. Okay, so remote control. Let's see if we can go up. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna take a step back. Yep. All right, I wanna show y'all why I stopped. I got really, really lucky, but check that out. See how narrow that pipe is? I saw it stretching, getting thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down and we're gonna make another bite. I took the pressure off of it and it went limp, so the pump dog's doing his job. Brought it all the way down. Ah, Lee, it instantly put that pipe in a kink. Instantly. That thing is cinched down. Woo! Well, there went the pipe. I knew it had a lot of pull on it. Had a whole lot of pull. Okay. Once we clear the hole, then we can put the camera in it and go down and see exactly where the collapse is. But at this point, you know, it's almost not worth it. The well didn't fill back up with water, so. All right, so we hooked it on again. We can go ahead and pull it now again. I think for a third. This is either the third or the fourth time. Stepping back. Pushing 6 o'clock. I've been here since about 1:15. Way longer than I'm supposed to be here, but regardless, you can't even put a pump in this well. In order to save this well, you'll have to set the rig back up on top of it. Not sure if the customer even has the funds to do that. So it may just be drill a new hole, but we have a job to do. Something like this, I just don't want to feel defeated, you know? I want to get out as much stuff as I possibly can. But judging by that damn black strap that was in the well, somebody's been here doing some crazy stuff before. Stuck well pump, take 77. So that right there is going to be 465 feet of cable out of the hole.
We get there.
Hey, that's why it failed right there. Check it out.
There's the problem. You know how I was telling you earlier it was wrong?
The wire broke.
There's the wire. That's what caused it.
You got a bigger problem. That hole's probably collapsed. All right, so if you remember back at the very beginning when we used the boom box over there to try to determine what the water level was, we got an acoustic reading of roughly 160 feet. Now, the wire, we've got out 600 feet of wire. It was 404 at the top of the wellhead, and I just pulled it out, and it was 998. So that's 600 feet of wire. We got out roughly, we'll say 400 to 450 feet of pipe. I just measured this portion here, and it is, I believe, 145 feet. So somewhere around that 145 to 160 is probably where the collapse is in that hole, because that's probably where we pulled the pump up to, and it stopped at that point, and that's when the pipe broke and everything fell off. So I'm gonna say we probably have a collapse down in that well at that point. I'm gonna take my other camera now, and we're gonna send it down the hole, and we're gonna take a peek at that 150 foot mark. All right, so I got my well view camera in the hole, and I'm only down about 7 foot, and I see the black roll pipe down there. You can actually see it. Yeah, you can see it on camera. Let's see if it'll focus. Yep, you can see the black pipe right there. So the black pipe isn't down there that far, but that means we still have roughly 150 or so feet of black pipe in there. But I don't know if y'all can really see that. The image. Yep, there it is. There's a stupid torque arrestor. That was probably what was holding us up. But see, they got a torque arrestor on it. That torque arrestor's down about 65 feet. I can't get anything past it. The pipe won't come up, the pipe won't go down. I can't get anything past that torque arrestor. Come look at it, Will. See the torque arrestor? That's why I don't use them. They cause more problems than they prevent. And when they cause problems, they cause big problems.
That's that rubber piece, right?
That's the rubber piece.
And it's just hung.
It's not necessarily hung, but I can't get by that with a camera. I can't get by that with a tool. I can't get by that with anything. You know, the best case scenario, you set back up on top of this and drill it out with a drilling rig. But it's been 6 days. The well has got 160 foot static right now. It should be at 40 foot. The well doesn't make any water. That's why they put the pump all the way on the bottom. That's essentially, you know, why it failed. Yeah. You know, but they just kept saying, oh, let's put it deeper, let's put it deeper, let's put it deeper. Does not fix a problem. A deeper pump, you know, when the well doesn't make no water, you're not fixing anything. And that well, the upper portion of it looked crazy. So, a true fix here, the correct fix, drill a new hole. All right, well, I went ahead, lowered it all back down. Will's cleaning up the pipe right now. And it's been like 5 hours, 40 some odd minutes for y'all. But spoke with the homeowners, explained to them what was going on, and I'm gonna hop in the pickup truck and drive home, and I'll explain to you everything I talked to them about, to where you as a viewer can understand. I think most of the guys who watch this that are well drillers will understand what needs to go on here, but I need to let everybody know the full spectrum of this, because the customer's husband is probably going to be watching this video, so he'll get a full understanding of exactly, you know, why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So let's get in the truck. All right, so let's talk about what we know. We know that the pump was at 600 foot. The information that I was given, you know, once you can paint a full picture and you get a full explanation about everything. The homeowners recently purchased the home within the last 2 months, and they've had water issues over the last 2 weeks where a plumber came in and put on a new pressure switch. After the plumber put on a new pressure switch, they had water for 2 days, and then they didn't have water. And they've been without water for 6 days. So in those 6 days, the well should have recovered. It should have filled itself up full of water. So we know
the well makes less than 75 gallons a day. 75 gallons in 24 hours. Because even if it made 100 gallons in a 24-hour period in 6 days, that would be 600 gallons, and the water would be up minimum 80 foot or 100 foot or something like that. Now you may be saying, oh, what if your static water level's at 220 foot? It's not. In my area, static water levels on the extreme side are 70 foot. On the average side, they're 30 foot. And on the light side, they're 5 or 6 or 8 foot. I don't think I've ever seen a static water level anywhere in my area that is more than 70 foot, realistically. Never seen one at 100 foot. That's why all of our pumps go in on poly. Now, let's talk about the reason why the pipe didn't have any water in it. That's because poly, even 250 PSI poly, cannot go beyond 400 feet. It will split and it will bust. And that's exactly what happened. That pipe split and busted. Either that or it blew the pump off, but it didn't blow the pump off because the pipe wouldn't come out. So the pipe was still connected to that pump down there, probably at 150. Luckily, we were able to get out what I would assess to be 300 feet of blue rope. So the other 300 feet of blue rope is still down the hole. Now, when I stuck the camera in the last minute, we didn't see any blue rope. So that means all the blue ropes down probably around the pump. The crane is totally capable of ripping that pump out through the rope, through any torque arresters, any of that. But what it's not capable of doing is pulling that pump through a collapse zone. And when I boomboxed it at the beginning, we got 160 foot echo reading. That's probably where the collapse is, at 160 foot. So, let's just say hypothetically, you set back up on it with the drilling rig. You got to bring 600 foot of steel to clean out a 600 foot hole. So we clean out the 600 foot hole. And you're still left with a well that makes less than 75 gallons a day. You know, I feel like the previous owners to this property knew that they had water problems and they did not disclose that to these buyers. That's just my personal feelings on the matter. And the reason why I think that is because of all the work that had gone on there. It used to be hung on a pitless adapter. It has 2 number 10 wires coming out to the well. One of them, which is old, you know, it was on, I guess that would be the second pump system, because the first one probably wasn't deep enough, or they were running out of water. So some plumber probably came there and said, oh, we'll just put a pump on the bottom, ordered 700 foot of pipe, put it all the way down in on the bottom, put heavy duty number 8 yellow wire on there. I mean, that had to be at minimum a $5,000, $6,000 pump system. And the well is still gonna run dry. So whether you run a pump dry at 400 foot or you run it dry at 600 foot, it's not no sense in doing that. You just put a pump at 400 foot. If that's what the well makes, that's what the well makes, and that's what you gotta live with. If you stick it down to 600 foot, you're gonna run it dry at that point and then live it at that level. It's just idiotic to put one that deep on poly. Just blows my mind. I'm a little flustered because we weren't able to actually get the pump out, but I don't feel defeated because the well doesn't make any water. It should have been full. It should have at least been at a level to where I could have indicated it and seen it with my camera. You know, I think I went down with my camera maybe 120 foot the first time I went down, and I didn't see any water, which I was surprised. That was kind of my first like aha moment. I was like, this probably isn't even worth doing this, but you've got me here, so let's do it. And then the further I got into it, I'm like, well, let's just keep pulling. I kept saying to myself, well, we've got out 330 or 320 foot of stuff. It can't be but no deeper than 400. Let's just do that, because we were told by these homeowners that we just know that the well is deeper than 200 foot. That thing was scalding deep. You know, if I wasn't there hired by these homeowners. I was there as a favor to a friend. So that's why I was there, because Will went there to help change their pump, and then everything went sideways and he called me to help. So that's just, you know, the reason how I ended up on that job. But I think they've got bigger problems, and I don't think setting up on that well is even worth it, because you're going to have to clean that hole out and then you're going to have to frack it. And I feel like if you already have a well that's collapsed once, what's to say it won't do it again? You know, there may be construction issues with that well. I just don't know. And then to drill a new well, you've only got 2 acres to work with, and you have to figure out where the septic is and the property lines and all that, and try to get away from that well, since that well's dry. It's on Red Lawn Road, which we know Red Lawn Road has a lot of deep wells. It's just a lot of variables going against me there, you know. But absolutely got my butt worked off there. Absolutely got my butt worked off. But yeah, most of the time, you know, fishing out a well pump or stuff like that, it ends with a satisfactory result. Unfortunately, this was not a satisfactory result. This was one that was very, very, very frustrating. But I'm not sure how far I'm going to edit this down. But it's probably, on my end, 4 hours of footage. So, yeah. But, I don't know. I like a challenge, but this one really, it makes me hurt, because now I know that, you know, the customer, they've got to figure out what they want to do. And I think the best bet would be drill a new well. Honestly do. But I feel like they need to have some conversations with the real estate agent and the previous homeowner and all that. There needs to be something done there, because there's no way that there wasn't a problem before they bought it. You know, a well just doesn't magically stop producing water. And they put a pump on the bottom of a 600-foot hole. They knew they were running dry. You know, they just lived with it like that. Or maybe they lived there for a short period of time and got away from it and let it be somebody else's headache. I don't know. I don't know what goes through some people's heads, but hopefully y'all enjoyed that video. That was a very, very in-depth fishing out a well pump. Hey, we fished it out. We went down and we snagged it and we got it and we brought it up and we pulled out all the wire and 85% of the pipe. But, you know, not much more we could do. So I'm going to go ahead, end it here. Please leave your comments in the comment section. I know there's going to be a bunch of them. So please, by all means, let me know what you think. What would you do in this, if this was your, you know, your house, your situation? If you're a driller, what would you recommend? Because I'm heading to the shop. It's already pushing 7 o'clock in the evening. And I'll have to wait and talk to Dad tomorrow to see what he thinks on a job like this. But I'll go ahead and end it here. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all later. Peace.